Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. The floor is now open to questions. The international community closely follows China's NPC and CPPCC sessions, especially the target for GDP growth this year. Some say China's downward revision of the target is partially owing to the turmoil in the Middle East. What is your comment? When delivering the report on the work of the government yesterday, Premier Li Qiang took stock of what China has achieved during the 14th five-year plan period. Gross GDP has taken a new leap with an annual growth of nearly 10 trillion RMB. GDP increased by over 35 trillion RMB for 5 years, equivalent to the GDP size of a medium-sized economy. These remarkable achievements have been made in a grave and complex landscape, where external shocks and challenges were intertwined with domestic difficulties and tough policy choices. This says a lot about the great resilience and vigor of China's economy. Looking forward, as Premier Li Qiang pointed out, we're clear-eyed about the difficulties and challenges we face, yet the conditions underpinning China's long-term growth and underlying trends remain unchanged. China is demonstrating the strength of its system and strength it has as a big country. As long as we fully tap our strength and respond to challenges in the right way, we will surely open up even more promising prospects for China's development. We will fully apply the new development philosophy on all fronts, move faster to foster a new pattern of development and promote high-quality development. China will promote higher quality economic growth while achieving an appropriate increase in economic output. We will further expand high-standard opening up, stick to mutually beneficial cooperation, steadily advance institutional opening up, and engage at a higher level in the global economy so that more people worldwide will benefit from China's development. The strategic focus, policy outcomes, vitality of development, and capacity for governance demonstrated that in China's economic growth will provide much-needed stability and certainty to a turbulent world.
Do you have a question? Yes.
Sorry, I thought you were calling on someone else. Russia and China are supporting Iran politically and otherwise. This is according to the Iranian foreign minister. Could you tell us what kind of support that China is providing politically or otherwise to Iran? Is there any military or dual-use support? Thank you.
中方反对美国和以色列违反国际法。
China opposes the U.S. and Israel launching military strikes against Iran in violation of international law. We support Iran in safeguarding its sovereignty, security, territorial integrity, and national dignity, and in upholding its legitimate and lawful rights and interests. China always advocates resolving issues through political and diplomatic means. We call for an immediate stop to the military actions and prevent the conflict from spreading and spilling over and avoid further escalation of the situation. Next one, please.
Good afternoon. Question from Reuters. China is in talks with Iran to allow crude oil and Qatari liquefied natural gas vessels safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, as the US-Israeli war on Tehran intensifies, three diplomatic sources told Reuters. Is the Foreign Ministry able to confirm this? Thank you.
The Strait of Hormuz and its adjacent waters are an important international trade route for goods and energy. To keep the region secure and stable serves the common interests of the international community. China urges relevant parties to immediately stop military operations, avoid further escalation of the tense situation, and prevent regional turmoil from causing greater damage to global economic growth. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问：受局
Airspace closures in some Middle East countries due to the current situation have caused massive travel disruptions, including among Chinese passengers. What steps has China's government taken to provide assistance? We attach high importance to Chinese passengers being stranded in Middle East countries. Since the strikes began, our ministry has immediately activated emergency response mechanism and instructed relevant diplomatic missions to engage with their host countries and do everything they can to provide assistance to stranded Chinese compatriots. The Foreign Ministry also urgently worked with the Civil Aviation Administration and other competent authorities for the early resumption of flights. With the joint effort of various parties, positive progress has been made. On the night of March the 4th, nearly 300 Chinese nationals safely arrived in Guangzhou from Dubai via foreign flight. Air China, China Eastern Airlines, China Southern Airlines, and Hainan Airlines are gradually resuming round-trip flights to countries including the UAE, Oman, and Saudi Arabia starting from March the 5th. We once again caution that the current situation in the Middle East remains complex and severe with high uncertainties. We remind Chinese nationals to avoid traveling to countries and regions affected by the military conflict, and those who are already there to closely follow relevant information and depart promptly while flights are available. If any help is needed, please contact Chinese embassies and consulates or dial Consular Protection Hotline 12308. Next one, please.
Question from Reuters. Australia's Defence Force says there has been an unsafe interaction with a Chinese helicopter in the Yellow Sea. Australia says its helicopter was confronted by a Chinese helicopter and they had to take evasive action for their safety. Is the Australian account correct? Is the Chinese Foreign Ministry able to provide more information on what happened? And did the Chinese military put the Australian military at risk? Thank you.
你说的情况。
I'm not aware of what you mentioned. I'd refer you to competent authorities. Next one, please.
Thank you. Good Foreign News Agency.
梧桐社，昨天伊朗对阿塞拜疆的一个国际机场发动了无人机袭击，而阿塞拜疆与美国和以色列的袭击毫无关联，这表明冲突已超出中东地区范围升级。外交部对其有何评论？ We are deeply concerned about the continued tense situation in the Middle East. The pressing priority now is to stop the military operations at once, prevent spillover of the conflict, and avoid further escalation. Next one, please.
FN News Agency. So, U.S. President Donald Trump has called Spain a loser and accused it of being hostile to NATO because of its position on defense spending and its refusal to allow the use of Spanish bases for operation against Iran. What is China's view of the current tensions between the two countries? Thank you.
首先，美国和以色列军事
First, the U.S. Israeli military strikes on Iran violate international law. The international community should jointly work for peace and cessation of the fighting and maintain peace and stability in the Middle East. Next one, please.
好，谢谢发言人。东方卫视记者提问。
Dragon TV. Nepal's House of Representatives elections were held on March 5th. The election committee held a press conference last night announcing that the voting concluded smoothly and peacefully and estimated turnout reached around 60%. What's your comment? China congratulates Nepal on concluding the voting for the House of Representatives elections steadily and as scheduled. We are glad to see Nepal advance its political agenda smoothly. As a traditionally friendly neighbor, China values its relations with Nepal. The two countries have supported each other in safeguarding independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. China stands ready to work with Nepal to continue advancing the strategic partnership of cooperation featuring everlasting friendship for development and prosperity. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any other questions?
Thank you. Good Foreign News Agency. Since the Iranian crisis started, Chinese officials made many statements that attacks on Iran are a violation of international law. That attacks on civilians are a red line. However, in the same situation in Ukraine, where Russia has been conducting an illegal aggressive war for more than 4 years, carrying out massive missiles and drone strikes on civilians and civilian infrastructure, and that left hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians without heat, electricity and water in the extreme cold of this winter, China's side is silent. For years, no one statement about red lines and no one expressed simple human sympathy to the victims of Russian attacks. So my question is, can the Foreign Ministry explain such selectivity? Is this an example of double standards in Chinese foreign policy when China protects its allies and ignores the suffering of other nations attacked by China's allies? Thank you.
你说的情况不符合事实。
What you said is inconsistent with facts. It is China's consistent position to resolve differences and disputes through dialogue and consultation, not resort to the use of force arbitrarily and protect civilians in military conflicts. The 4 principles and 3-point proposition put forward by President Xi Jinping and the position documents released by China fully reflect this position, which you may refer to. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any other questions? This is the end of today's press conference. Have a lovely weekend.